What has been the quantum of flights that you've had to cancel altogether since the start of this crisis? And more importantly, in terms of refunds and also in terms of cancellations, passengers obviously have been reading about traumatic experiences of other passengers having spent 12 hours at the airports and so on and so forth. Have you seen an impact of people cancelling on flights?
So two parts to the question. And firstly, what are we doing about this? It's not just about the, talking to customers and apologizing to them. As of today, we are sending out individual emails to each of the customers affected. It's not just about refunds. That's something that we will, of course, do. We are also going to provide them with compensation. For passengers who were delayed for long times, we are also going to provide them with additional vouchers, so that which is again a token apology from us. So all that is happening as we speak to the customers. And on your second point, which is what is the message and what are we seeing in terms of bookings and cancellations? Thankfully for us, I don't think we've seen a huge drop off. It's probably all the goodwill that we've earned over the last 9 years. And we really want to thank our customers and hope they give us the patience for us to bounce back over the weekend.
Vinod, as you pointed out, you are reaching out to customers and trying to woo them back, and trust is a hard currency to trade in, and you've tried to do that with your customers and build that trust and build reputation and customer satisfaction and customer experience over this decade that you've been operating in India. How much has this damaged reputation? What has this done in terms of reputational loss, in terms of a lack of trust with your customers, and how do you build that back?
It is something that we are thinking very, very closely about. I think there's two elements to this. One, of course, is the external element, which is to all our customers. And the only way, I suppose, that we can earn back this trust is to ensure that we get back to form quite quickly. And on that front, we are quite, it's quite heartening that over the last 2 days, our on-time performance has been in excess of 80 to 85%. So we are back on track, at least for the flights that we are operating. And what you see is what you get in the system. And the second part of this is internal, because to my 6,500 staff, we've always had the pleasure of having an extremely good experience and providing great service to our customers. And we hope that, and we know that this blip or this disruption has kind of dented that. So I've had discussions and town halls with each group of staff, not just pilots, with various verticals. And I think the message is very consistent and clear that this was something that should not have happened. It's unfortunate, but we are going to bounce back from this. And our staff can once again, hold their heads high and service our customers when they come to the airport.
You said that there is an acknowledgement that that the rostering system should have planned for the sick leaves that were anticipated for the month of March. You acknowledge the fact that it didn't work as per plan and should have been dealt with better. In terms of course correction from here on, outside of the rostering issues, outside of training and perhaps hiring more, and of course dealing with the compensation issues, on the back end, Vinod, what are the other changes that you believe you need to fix? What are the other changes that you need to make? And how complex are those going to be, given the fact that you're now on the back end also going to see a significant transition as this merger process takes shape?
So, of course, the changes which will have to be made are mostly through, as you said, the rostering system, the practices in terms of what curtailment that we need to do in the network, as well as, I think, the approach that we've had, which has been consultative, but perhaps we need to be a little bit more open and have more dialogues and hear a little bit more from the pilots as well. And that's something which I think we will continue to do. As far as the merger and the integration is concerned, I think the main point is that the merger that we are looking at, or the integration, is one for scale, one for growth. And there is definitely excitement and opportunities, at the end of it. So that is something that we will be working towards. We are in the middle of this. We are also working out various aspects of how to transition into one integrated unit. And that also comes with its own complexities that we're trying to navigate.
I just want to pursue that the plan as far as the merger is concerned, and Air India has said that they're now entering the climb phase. They were so far in the takeoff phase as part of the Vihan plan that had been laid out for turning the airline around. They're now in the climb phase. But what does it mean for Vistara as you move forward into this integration, and how complex is it going to really be on the back end? Is that adding to the current set of challenges that you're facing? And of course, the pilots issue is directly linked to the merger because you're changing comp to match what Air India pilots are getting.
So from a back-end perspective, or from a systems perspective, or from a mechanism perspective, yes, we are trying to see how we can align various things and how we can make the transition and integrate with Air India, of course. People situation, like you said, not just pilots, but with other verticals as well, with other staff. We are very clear and we are very sure that we want to make sure that the transition is smooth for them. And that's the process that we would like to adopt. And that's the process that we need to adopt. When it comes to handling the integration on top of the current challenges, I'm quite confident that we are more or less at the end of this disruption that we've had. We will be able to come out of this quite soon, as I said, by this weekend, and then by the next week or so. And then our focus again will be to go back to the world-class operations that we provide and that we give, and then focus a lot more on integration as we get the various approvals in the coming weeks and months.
The DGCA and the Civil Aviation Ministry had also asked Vistara for an explanation as to what transpired over the weekend leading to the kind of disruption that we saw. Have you responded to the ministry? Have you responded to the regulator? What's been the conversation and the dialogue?
So we have, and we've also been asked to provide details on cancellations on a daily basis, which we are doing. We've also assured the ministry and the DGCA that we are taking care of the passengers. We are following the norms of what is required in terms of cancellation, compensations and penalties and so on, including for delays when you have to provide food and beverage wherever it's possible. So all those are being followed. And I think it's important for us to reassure the ministry and the DGCA that we are following this, which is what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's not a pleasant situation to be in. We want to come out of it as soon as we can, which is what we're working towards.
Vinod, we're at the start of a new financial year, and given where you find yourself today with this current crisis that you're dealing with, lay out for me the flight path for 2024, both in terms of fleet addition as well as the need to bring more pilots on board to be able to deal with the kind of capacity that you currently have, as well as the capacity that you're planning to add.
So at this point in time, we have 70 aircraft in our fleet. That's a mix of 63 narrow bodies and 7 wide bodies. That concludes actually the order book that we have. So through this year, we are not taking in any additional aircraft as Vistara. So that gives us some reprieve because it's a matter of optimizing what we have. And that's the reason why we are still continuing to recruit to fill up this buffer or the gap, which we were talking about. So there's no additional aircraft or fleet growth that's coming in. But whatever we have now, we will be utilizing it to the extent possible by ramping up on pilots, ramping up on cabin crew as is needed.
Okay, so no additional aircraft being added to the fleet this year. You said you're hopeful that by the end of the week or by next week, the current phase of disruptions will be a thing of the past. Do you feel confident of being able to do that? Or do you believe that you may have to continue with rationalized operations through the month of April and perhaps through May?
We might have to rationalize our operations and scale it back by a little bit. I think that's definitely possible. But what I'm trying to highlight is that it's something that will be planned. We will take care of passengers who are affected perhaps on these flights. And hopefully by the month of May, we will be able to go back to normal operations and schedule.
Okay, so the rationalization exercise to continue at least up until May. Vinod, many thanks for joining us, for clearing the air on a whole host of issues, as well as giving us an idea of what Vistara is doing to address the current concerns that pilots have raised, as well as address the concerns that customers have, because at the end of the day, it is the customer that bears the brunt of the disruptions that we have seen. Thank you for joining us and acknowledging where the problems are, but more importantly, what the course correction looks like on the road ahead. Appreciate your time. We will take a break here on the CNBC-TV18 Newsmaker and come back with plenty more. Stay tuned.